Hey, my name is Alana. It is an amazing day. I'm happy to be here with you. And let's talk about something a little more personal. And let's talk about vulnerability. Now, I know Brene Brown talks a lot about vulnerability, and we can have a lot of our own takes on what does this mean. I want to come from the place of energy. I use human design and gene keys as tools in my work, helping my clients. But first and foremost, I use it on myself and my family. And in human design, I am a projector energy type. My profile is a 1-3. So it's all about me. Like I have to explore, learn through investigating, experimenting, because what works for me may work for you. It might not, but I am okay being that guinea pig, being that tester that says, hey, let's see what shows up. How does this work? What happens? And, a lot of times we can get lost in feeling like we just make mistakes and we fail because everything that we experiment with, it's either going to work or it's not. And there can be vulnerability in even being in that process and wanting to share or let people know what we're doing because we're afraid of that judgment. We're afraid that it's going to go against the grain. Well, let me tell you, I 100% of the time am going to go against the grain. What does that mean? I'm going to ruffle feathers. I'm going to do things that you don't like. I'm going to do things my parents and my family and my friends may not like. And I've really had to learn it's okay to share and talk about these things and own it. And I've learned that I could feel very vulnerable and not want somebody's judgment, not want to talk about it because it is so outside the box that it I would fear that it would just be met with all kinds of anxiety, other fear, energy that people just kind of want to fight, almost be confrontive or combative, right? Because it can lead to a debate. It's like having this belief. And of course, there's going to be somebody on the other side that tells you you're wrong. It's never about being right or wrong. Everything every single one of us humans do is for our own personal experience. And yet we get lost in thinking we have to please everyone. And so it can feel very vulnerable to even be you, right? And who is that? Because you're constantly changing. I'm constantly changing. Our energy, we learn at a young age to start protecting ourselves, to wall ourselves off, right? To put a barrier around us. Now, we already naturally have an auric field around our self, our physical body. And that already gives us a little room to have space, feel safe. But yet we can feel even more confronted when people enter our personal space, right? When somebody walks in and they're really close to you. When we close down our own energy, I do a lot of remote energy work. I do this to help be the conduit for your own healing. So if you've learned to shut down your chakras, there is less energy available to go in to your endocrine system, into your organs, into the meridians, into these cellular components and subatomic particles within you. There's less energy because when we're like this and we're feeling vulnerable, we think we have to be this. I want you to expand into seeing, yes, it can feel very vulnerable when we're out here and we're opening ourselves to be holding our energy in a capacity that is very expansive, very connected to God's source, to Mother Earth. And after energy sessions, when I work on groups or individual clients, families, whatever it may be, they're 100% of the time completely open. And that is a whole new level of vulnerability, because you really can feel like you're almost naked, because suddenly you're going to be able to tap in to another person's field, into their energy, feel them emotionally, mentally. It can be you feel their fears, you feel if they're authentic, you feel their thoughts and all of the mental arguments that are going on. And it can feel very much like, oh, I want to get back to this place, right? And to stay open and be vulnerable means to actually have things happen in the now, for you to be responsive to what information you are receiving on all levels, in all of these different ways, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It takes a great power within you to plant yourself and hold yourself open and to be vulnerable, that you're going to feel things and people are going to throw things at you. They're going to lash out at you. And I bring this up because, again, I have my own vulnerabilities. And I am somebody who, my past story is nobody sees me. They don't hear me. They don't know my name. They can't say Alana. It's really difficult. I don't know why. When I was a kid, super easy. But again, as I get older, it's more and more easy for people to be in their own world and their own vulnerabilities and their own armor, that to penetrate and for them to hear me say, hello, my name is Alana. They're already gone. They're not even present. They can't receive. So I've felt like I've judged myself and played smaller because you're not going to see me anyway. I find it interesting that I've moved into this astrology-based world and knowing birth dates and requesting that of people to run their charts, because I am somebody who remembers. I remember names. I know birthdays, and yet I get to help you see you, and yet I didn't feel seen. Nobody remembers me, my name. I'm usually that person where it's like a hey, because they don't even know how to say my name. They don't even remember it. They certainly don't remember my birthday. And that's the story I've held on to, is let me see you, but it's okay if you don't see me. And so I've been dancing in this reflection piece. Now, in human design, we say this is a line 5 projection field. And there's so many modalities and tools out there, and each one has a piece of the puzzle, and they all fit together. So although I really don't have a lot of line 5 energies in my human design chart, in the Hebrew numerology, my name actually puts me into being this mirror. And I feel it. I get the 5s, and I get the projection field in the sense that you'll see in me you, or you'll see in me what you want to see of me, but not me. That's the dance for line 5s. And here's the power. Be the Jedi, right? The energy comes in, and yet we can also keep it at bay. We can transmute it into something vibrationally higher. The vulnerability comes in that space of staying open, being able to feel somebody's projection, feel their energy. Maybe it's a dagger. Maybe they're glaring at you, staring at you. Maybe they are sending you love. Maybe they're smiling at you. Do you see them? Do you feel this exchange? Do you feel the exchanges that are nonverbal or verbal? Or read the body and the energy that's coming off of the body. Now, I am always seeing everybody around. I see you. I hear you say your name. I already know it. I'm going to remember you. And it's fascinating how many times people will see me for the first time. That's something huge for me to recognize. I'm seen when I'm meant to be seen, when I choose to be seen. But this projection field also means that I can hold the space and be in that vulnerability where it can feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it doesn't feel safe. But for me personally, my journey is to go into my own core wound of rejection and opening my heart and staying in this open place. Oh my gosh, is that so vulnerable at times where it's like, oh, and I have to hold it. And I have had moments that have felt humiliating. Being at a conference and somebody saying my name to ask a question of me and me standing up and them saying, "Oh, sorry, not you." Okay, wow, someone actually said my name, but no, they didn't mean me. And feeling that, like excitement to be seen, but then that piece of no, I'm not seen. And now I have to sit in this and hold my heart open and still send love and know that that person didn't do it intentionally to be harmful. We all make mistakes. We all forget. It's why people don't say my name. It's easier to just say hi or just ignore. And yet, if I'm going to be in a vulnerable place, maybe I do put the invitation out there anyway and say hello and allow myself to be the example in such a way that my heart gets to open theirs and expand that love rather than shut it down. Rather than shut it down and want to go into rejection and then want to just lash out and hide away, feeling vulnerable. But now I can feel vulnerable out here. And in doing that, I help others realize that being vulnerable doesn't have to be so scary, can actually be very uplifting for all parts of us, raising up consciousness, holding our heart open, being of that space of pure unconditional love, loving anyway, right? More and more, I just think, what would love do? And am I coming from a place of love? And that can feel very vulnerable because that means I have to stay present and available when, yes, sometimes that part of our nervous system kicks in and we just want to run away or we want to freeze. But how can we stay here, grounded, breathing, calm? And now we can respond instead of react. So energetically, when we shut down, we've already shut down our ability to truly be vulnerable. And being vulnerable is being human because it's when we open our heart and we get to expand and connect to each other and help each other to really be emotional, be upset if we have to be, right? And let somebody tantrum, have that moment, realize it's not about me. But if there's something in me that triggered them to find their power and release this pain, who am I not to be that reflection? And I'm learning that in my own place of being vulnerable, I open myself and that opens others. And that's the ripple that we're here to create. And if I am coming out more and more powerfully, it's because I see in you, your power is wanting to do the same. It's time to shine and be the love, be the prosperity, be whatever it is you're here to be. And when we hide, it's our power, our love that's vulnerable to the fear. But when we love, vulnerability is a beautiful gift birthed through love. And I think that's really the core of what I want to share. It comes from love. To be love is to be vulnerable, to open your heart, crack it wide open, rip the armor off, and share your love, share your purity, your innocence, your heart. And fear stood in the way before. And we were told that we shouldn't be vulnerable, right? We should always be protected and ready. And, that you think that you're this innocent child that's going to walk this dark street and all of this stuff is going to happen to you. Well, we attract that. If that's really what is needed in this journey, the experience, most of us, we're cleansing that. Everyone on the planet has gone through enough suffering. And now, when we're all vulnerable because we're opening our hearts and we're realizing the pain that needs to be released and forgiven and transmuted into more love, let's be vulnerable together. Let's open our hearts and share and be willing to listen and truly hear what is being expressed. What is the unmet need? What is their wounding? What is it that they are seeking and just really wanting to receive? And sometimes it is this connection to be seen, to be heard, to belong, to be loved, feeling all of these energies. What does vulnerability mean to you? What does it mean for you to be vulnerable? And how can you move towards vulnerability with more of an open heart so that you are able to truly infinitely connect through love, being love, giving love, receiving love? To give is to receive. Thank you for honoring who you are, the gifts you're here to share. And if it feels vulnerable to share them, you're truly on the right path. Your soul is guiding you to get there. I love you. Bye for now.